everyone, and welcome to the Danny Grieves Show. This is Danny Grieves, along with myself, Scott Kirker. Coach, it's been about a week.
Right.
But since you played last, well, let's go back a week prior. You come off that heartbreaking loss to Washington, at Washington.
Yeah.
Your first conference loss of the year. And then you get on a bus that following Monday and drive up to Chicago to Hyde Park.
Right.
And take on a pretty good Oak Park River Forest team, pretty solid basketball team, and your kids could have folded, but they didn't. They pull out a stunning buzzer beater win.
Right.
Great for morale, and it's really kind of propelled you guys now into a nice little winning streak.
We needed that challenge, and it was nice to come off a gut-wrenching defeat at Washington. But I'll tell you what, to score 5 points in the last 9 seconds to win by 3 was pretty fun.
That was outstanding. Your leading scorer, Tyson Swanson, played a pretty good game, but they held him in check pretty well until the last 9 seconds.
He had not had a basket the entire game, and he drives baseline left side, does a 360 layup.
Yeah.
And they run a guy out, and they see him long, and the kid tries to throw it long. And Devin Dunn just does a great job of getting back and intercepting it and takes about 2 dribbles and lets it fly.
About 10 feet behind the three-point line.
Yeah, it was behind the volleyball line.
Yeah.
It was.
And nothing but net.
Right.
And there's just another guy. You put guys in positions to succeed. Last year it was Solomon Schwartz over at Morton.
Right.
And for the big win, this year it was Devin Dunn.
Yeah.
Who's really come on and given you some quality minutes.
Yes, he has.
He's been a nice
great ball handler. He can defend on about anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot tougher than he looks as far as size goes.
Yeah.
It looks like he ain't 110 pounds
dripping
wet. But I'll tell you what the kid does have is he's got a lot of grit, and people can't take the ball from him, and he's one of our better 3-point shooters. So it's good to see him shine a little bit. When we have injuries and we have guys that are out for whatever reason, how many guys can you get that have a foot injury or hip injury this year? And it's been nice to see him grow into the spot that he's into right now.
And he's filled in very nicely because Tyler Mason has been out with a foot injury, like you talked about. So he's been out for the last few weeks, and Devin Dunn has filled in admirably. I think he had another layup in that game up in Hyde Park.
He did.
So he ended up with 5 points. But defensively, it doesn't look like he should be able to keep up with those guys, but he does.
He has good quickness, good lateral speed also, and so it's, there's nobody he can't really guard that I've seen so far, and it's when guys try to pull it out and try to, get a 5-second count, we can get up there on him, and he does a nice job doing that.
Came back then that following Friday,
right.
With the conference game against Canton. Took care of business there.
Right.
Nice win. In that game, Ethan Kaiser went off for 31 points, I believe. Real nice night. Had, I think, 8 threes, something like that.
I think he had 9.
9 threes. Outstanding game. Your team played awfully well.
They did. And they, a lot of times you might play down to your opponent's skill level. And right now they're down a little bit. Coach has got them playing hard. But our guys just came in and took care of business. Made shots, defended. They had such a hard time getting shots off, let alone making them. So it was fun to watch our guys work.
Yeah, they played awfully well in that game. It was going to be a challenge because you played Friday night, a conference game. Then you turned around on Saturday and played 2 teams, one at 10 o'clock in the morning and the other one at 5 o'clock that evening. 2 very good teams, Chicago Lindblom at 10 in the morning, and then you'd play later on that night against Bradley Bourbonnais. And
we played the late game Friday and then the early game Saturday. I didn't want anybody else to say, man, they took the easy route.
Right.
And so, but our kids did a nice job of really going to bed at night, evidently, because we had fresh legs and we just wore Chicago out.
Yeah, you did. And in that game, I believe you had 2 guys. Tyson Swanson, I think, had something like 18 points and 15 rebounds. And I believe Zach Schroeder had 20 points 9 rebounds and 8 assists.
Right, 22, 9, and 8.
And, when was the last time Metamora had a triple-double?
I'm not sure, but that was a heck of a game.
They were both co-players of the game. We didn't realize he had that many assists until afterwards, but we knew he had one whale of a ball game.
Yeah, he dropped a lot of dimes that night. And a couple of them got missed layups, or he would have had double digits.
Yeah, it was that was an impressive game from both of them. Yeah. And you talked about it earlier in the season that you had the core four.
Right.
And last week, each one of those guys had a core four game.
Right.
And basically,
sometimes 2 at a time, sometimes 3 at a time.
And last night, and we'll get to last night's game a little bit later on, but last night, all 4 of them had great games.
Right.
And when that happens, awfully tough to beat.
Then you throw in the guys that aren't one of the top 4 or those core 4 guys.
Your role players.
And just think about it. I mean, how many rebounds, did you see Kaiser Quick get?
Oh.
He came out of nowhere. Take a look at the job that him and
Jake
Nealon did on the big guy inside.
Yeah,
he's huge. That's a big old body.
That's a big kid with some quickness and some ability, and they kind of wore him down.
Right.
But you got the big win Saturday morning against Lindblom.
Yeah.
A nice win, a 30-point win, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you turned around that night and you played a very long and tall Bradley Bourbonnais team. Their best player, Owen Freeman, I believe, going to Iowa.
Right. They got him listed at 6'10". He's probably 6'9". But along with it, they got 2 other 6'8".
Yeah. And they have some kids that can shoot.
Yes, they can.
And it posed a huge problem. I thought they were going to be one of our toughest matchups. When I watched them in those earlier games, that's going to be a tough matchup. But you guys took it right to them and were not afraid to take it to the bucket. And
I think that surprised him a little bit.
I think it did too. I think it really surprised him, especially when Drew Tucker drives down the middle of the lane and goes in and dunks it with the 6'10" kid right beside him.
That was nice.
That was incredible. But there were some things in that game against a quality opponent from some of your players that I thought, wow, they start doing that the rest of the year, we're going to be an awfully tough out.
We've played enough teams that have height. East St. Louis, St. John Bosco. We've played some really big teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've gotten over that fear of height and length.
And quickness.
Yeah. So it was a good game to watch us unfold against a good big team. Their best outside threat was held to 1 bucket.
Yeah, right.
He hit a 3 late when it was already over.
Yeah, the game was, I think you already had about an 18 or 20 point lead at that point. Ethan Kaiser, I think, went off for 34 points. Yeah, it was an incredible night. But I just love how your kids, this whole season, when somebody's hot, they're not afraid to make that extra pass to keep getting him the ball.
Feed the beast.
Yeah, they just keep getting him the ball because it's not like they don't care about scoring, they just care about winning.
And think about the game that Drew Tucker had that night.
Oh.
That got him in the all-tournament team. Mm-hmm. He had a solid 2 other games, but that game there, man, he was really strong.
He was very good, and your team came away the champions. You guys went 3-0 in the tournament.
Right.
Again, you played teams that the quality teams that you're going to see down the road if you get to where you want to go.
There hasn't been a gimme in a while.
No, there hasn't.
Right.
So you come off that big high last weekend. This past Friday, you played another conference game against East Peoria, the last team that you hadn't played yet in the Mid-Atlantic.
Right.
And a very much improved East Peoria team. And boy, some things just seemed to go their way.
All night long.
All night long. Everything they threw up seemed to go in.
Yeah.
Every 50-50 ball just seemed to bounce to them.
We'd dive on the floor for it to go out of bounds and it wouldn't be ours.
It was a frustrating game. And the thing that I liked most about it is, you talk about pitchers. And sometimes, every pitcher that's ever won a Cy Young Award has always said, I won 3-4 games this year, and I didn't have my best stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they found a way to win. Your kids didn't have their best stuff, but they found a way to win.
Right. We only led twice in that game. Once in the second quarter, and at the end of the game.
At the end when it counted.
When it counted. But You know, we scored the last, 7 points, I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I thought in that game, probably more so than any game I've seen this year, Zach Schroeder basically just took the team on his back, and
Yeah, he did.
and senior night refused to lose.
Right. But that's what he's been giving us for a 3-year starter.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And you look at him, you go, well, this kid can't be that good. And you know, end of the night, you know, he's got 22, 9, and 8.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it's awfully nice to have him on your side, isn't it?
It makes me a much better coach.
Yeah, he did some incredible things. You know, the way he gets to the basket and then changes in midair is just amazing to me.
I like the way he makes everybody else better.
Oh,
You know,
for sure.
I mean, he just, everything's clicking. He's not a selfish player, but he knows when he's got to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes in there when it's not his time to go up with 2 or 3 or 4 guys on him. He kicks it, and you know, he does a nice job of distributing the ball where it needs to go, and he doesn't take many bad shots.
Doesn't take many bad shots. Always seems to find the open guy for a
Yeah.
better shot.
Tremendous left hand.
yeah.
That spin move that he's got is really fun to watch.
Yeah, and you
Unless
know,
you're guarding him.
oh, that would not be fun. That would not be fun at all. But I thought that Friday night, that was a game that, you know, a lot of teams lose that game. And good teams.
I told the guys at half, we can't stub our toe in this stuff now. We're gonna, but you can see it in their eyes. They never thought they were gonna do anything but win it. You
Yeah.
know? And I'm glad they didn't wait any longer.
yeah, they waited to just.
But even
about
get the
end.
last stop on that last possession, you know, that was good defense. Talked through it, contested the shot.
And they did not get a clean shot. They end up having to throw something up at the end, and
Right.
it didn't even hit iron. It was an air
Right.
ball, and you guys won. I attribute that to 2 things: the will to win,
Yeah,
and the fact that you guys have played such a tough schedule
right.
that nothing bothers them. There's no situation they haven't already
And
been in.
we practice situations all the time. You know, 10 seconds up 4, you know, 5 seconds down 2. I mean, and it's just another one of those things when you get them on the bench, you go, hey, we just did this. Here's how we're going to do it.
Mhm.
And so it's pretty good when you can prepare for that kind of stuff. And then you see them, you know, take it in practice and put it in the game and apply it. It's kind
And
of
it
nice.
works.
Yeah, it does.
And that's my
Kind of like
point.
last year with the missed free throw shot.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Just the way you
you
drew
got to
it
be
up.
lucky, but that is the way we drew it up. But if you don't draw it up or ever practice it, you know, then it's really luck.
Then it's never going to happen.
No, it's not.
And you know, I that's why I just think that, you know, we're 18-6 right now,
Yeah.
and you guys have played an unbelievable schedule. I mean, it's just amazing when you look at the teams we've beaten, where we've gone. We've played teams from Chicago to St. Louis,
Right.
and a lot of teams in between. Team from California. You've got 6 losses, and you could make a legitimate argument that maybe 3 of them just slipped away.
And there's no doubt, and we weren't at full capacity.
No.
You know, that was the time that, you know, we didn't have Zach. And Zach is so influential on what we do offensively, but especially defensively. I mean, he's our mouthpiece. You know, he keeps us organized. He's our leader.
He's your senior.
Yeah.
And seniors have that little bit of a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And you win with seniors, and he's definitely it's his basketball team.
Yeah,
you can
true.
see that. You can see that when you're on the floor. You can see it when you go to the grill afterwards.
Right.
And you know, that's the beauty of it. But you know, you come away with that 55-54 win. That's a big win.
Beat him as bad as we could.
Yeah. And you gave a huge crowd just an unbelievable game to watch, which it was a great crowd, loud crowd.
Yeah, it was.
And then you go over to probably one of the most storied gyms in this area at Manual High School,
Right.
against a pretty good Manual team. And we were thinking about the last time Metamora beat Manual in a basketball game.
It was probably with Brockhouse.
We can't remember it.
I think Brockhouse beat them to make it for the regional championship.
He might have, because we thought there might be a game in there we're not thinking of.
Yeah.
But other than that, you have to go back to the early 60s.
Mm-hmm. We haven't beat them in the 11 years that I've been here, other than the summer.
Did Brockhouse beat them at Manual?
Good question. I do not know.
I don't know. I don't know if we've ever beaten them at Manual. And you came away
Did
last
it from
night.
gun to gun.
You got the lead. I think they they never had the lead last night.
No.
You got out in front 2-0, and you ended with the 12-point win last night.
Right. And it stayed double digits most of the night.
Yeah. Every time they'd make a little run, you guys would answer and then take the wind out of their sail. They could never put together enough of a run to make us feel
Couldn't get
uncomfortable.
it to 8, couldn't get it to 6.
No.
Kept it about 10 points. And that's when they really get going, is they feed off that. And we didn't ever let them have that opportunity.
No, they never made us feel uncomfortable.
Tremendous job of passing the ball down the court for the press.
Yes.
Throw it ahead, don't dribble through it.
And again, I thought Drew Tucker played outstanding last night. He's kind of been
he was gassed at the end of the game. He had nothing left. And I said, that's the feeling we're going to have to be successful. And that's where he's at. That's where our guys are at. And that kind of effort will get you W's.
He took a hard fall late in the game. Kind of landed on his side a little bit.
Right.
You pulled him out, but I think you only left him out for about 30 seconds.
That floor doesn't have much give either.
No.
That's a hard floor.
Yeah, the floor won on that one, but I thought Zach Schroeder again last night played well. I thought Ethan Kaiser came back and had a real nice night.
Sure did.
And I thought
got some real good rebound putbacks.
Oh yeah. Putback dunk. And
they cleaned a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
Him and Kaiser quick on the glass. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they did. I think your core 4 all scored double digits last night.
Pretty sure.
And that's awfully nice when you can do that.
They're hard to contain when you can't just try to get one guy where you can not let him take his shot, but we got guys that are so unselfish that do a really good job of making the extra pass. I told them before the game, it's going to have to be good, better, or best in their selection. And good's not good enough. We need better shots than that. And I think for the most part, we got those.
Oh, I think so too. I thought your kids played outstanding. Made nice, good passes. You had a lot of touches. How many times did you get the ball into the paint and then you kicked it out for a wide open 3 or a wide open 10-footer?
Right.
I mean, that happened every trip down the court. It had to be so demoralizing for Manuel.
Yeah, they were pretty dejected by the end.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought the point in the game where I thought the wind really came out of their sails was Jake Nealon came up and set a pick, and I think it was Zach Schroeder ran his guy right into Nealon, and Nealon took the charge basically and got the foul on him. And after that, they just kind of you just see their body language.
Right.
And
the body language told it all.
And after that, it was just they played it out.
Right.
They played hard, but if
the kid doesn't hit back-to-back threes down there that he hardly ever hits, it would have been a 20-point game instead of. But we'll take a 12-point win at Manual any day.
Oh yeah. A win is a win.
Right.
And it puts you at 18-6 right now.
Right.
And I think is it this week that the regional seedings come out?
No, it's
next week.
It is February 9th.
Oh, so you got 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have 2 weeks.
So you got a little bit of time, but that is a huge win.
Yeah.
For that.
Well, and yesterday the Mid-Illini went 3-0
in the shootout
against the shootout, and our second and third place team in Mid-Illini have beat the number 1 team in that conference in Notre Dame. So that's got to help us too.
Yes, and you've got 2 more home games against Washington and Morton.
Yeah. 2
huge games for you guys.
Right.
And that's going to say a lot.
That's the only home games we got left.
That's it. You already had your senior night.
Right.
Which was, I thought, a great move to move it up.
Well, we didn't know if, with COVID hits and if we get a problem with kids, and we had 2 other dates we could shoot for.
I liked that the other night though. That was a good one. But those 2 games at home, you've beaten Morton at their place. You've got some revenge for Washington coming back to our place, and then you finish up with IVC. But in between there, you've got East Peoria again on Tuesday, Limestone on Friday, Dunlap on Saturday.
And the following Tuesday we go to Normal
West. Yes. So you're
still challenging. Still challenging.
Normal West gave Normal everything they wanted Friday night.
Yeah, sure did.
And I think it would end up only being like a 5 or 7 point game.
Yeah.
So yeah, your schedule, murderer's row.
Right. But you know what? I want to try to have us be exposed early, so we can retool a little bit, and we can fix the problem, and we can work towards those deficiencies and be ready for the postseason. it wasn't set up to try to win the Mid-Illini Conference. It was set up to try to win a regional and a sectional and a super sectional. That's what it was set up for.
And it definitely looks that's how you're headed.
And early on, I think our kids thought we were better than we were. You know, I think people around the school thought we were better than we were. I think some parents thought we were better than we were. And we needed to be, you know, humbled a little bit, and we have been. And I think our kids have come together and done a great job of, you know, having good chemistry and being unselfish and being the best team that we, you know, I always tell the best team's going to win tonight, fellas. Who's it going to be? You know, including the bench, including the coaches, including the managers, and you know, if we had a dog, I would be the dog, and a fish and a cat. You know, but when we all come together, you know, and that's been happening. Our bench has been better than most other teams' benches. I mean, just listen to them; they're totally into it.
You know, your bench, you haven't had to go very deep, but if you had to, your bench is as deep as it's ever been here before.
Right, that's true.
So you know, it's awfully good. When you look at your program right now, you got a sophomore team that's lost 2 games,
right,
and a freshman team that hasn't even been challenged.
Yeah, they're still undefeated.
So your future with this basketball program is lights out.
So you're telling me if they get any coaching at all, there you go. Just stay out of the way of the kids.
No,
it is nice to see talent come in, but it's kids that, you know, have watched us play for some years, got a great interest. You know, just like down my block. You know, there's 14 hoops up down my block. You know, when I first arrived, there was 3 11 years ago. So I mean, the young kids have really caught on and loved the game, and you watch the young travel teams, and you know, we went to the championship regional game the other night of Germantown and Metamora Grade, and there's some great young talent coming up still. And but they really do love the game, and you know, I'm just real honored to be the guy that's at the high school right now and trying to keep it in the right direction.
Yeah, it's definitely headed in the right direction. It's fun to watch. The last couple weeks, it's been really cold out, and on those Friday nights, boy, that gym is awfully nice and warm, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And we've been getting some great crowds. The other night was one of the nicest crowds. It was pretty much full. But it's going to be exciting when Morton and Washington both come to town, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Coach, congratulations. You're 18-6. You're 7-1 in the Mid-Illini Conference.
8-1.
8-1. I forgot about Friday night's game. Yeah, 8-1 in the Mid-Illini. So you're sitting very good. Kind of the destiny's in your own hands.
Right.
But it's been a heck of a journey so far.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a blast.
We've tried to enjoy every day. You know, we want to try to stay in the minute. In that moment, we want to celebrate when we do well, and we want to try to retool and work harder and make better decisions when we don't do well. And you know, these kids are totally bought in, and it's been a lot of fun being around them. It's been a blast.
Well, Coach, we'll let you go here. I know you got practice going on. Thank you for taking the time. We'll see you Friday night in Limestone.
Sounds good,
Tuesday night in East Peoria.
Yes.
That'll do it for the Danny Grieves Show. See you Tuesday night in East Peoria.